All right, what is up, BG Deck? Oh, that's cool. I've never really made a screencastify thing of a slideshow, but that's neat. I'm not going to use this feature, but that's neat. All right, again, hello, BG Deca. So since we have a crazy busy week this week with testing, Catholic Schools Week, and then next week with the Mississippi trip, this week's mini lesson comes to you via video lesson, I guess. So you can watch it anytime. You can watch it on repeat. So if you couldn't show up to the last one because of practice or whatever, here you go. So today's topic is mainly human resources management, HRM, or management in general. So a lot of our like hospitality management, some of our categories like that, this will apply to you. And even if you don't have a category in human resources, every department in any business, whether it's the marketing, accounting, whatever, deals through HR. HR is the brains of everything. They are in charge of everything. So it's good to know kind of what they do, what it looks like behind the scenes. So I'm going to run you through a crash course. I'm going to try my best to just, like I said, run through it and not talk too much. I don't want this to be like a 20-minute long video. And it won't be. I promise you that. It won't be 20 minutes. So without further ado, understanding people, the business, and the day-to-day operations. HR managers are very busy people. All right, now, okay, pardon me while I try to figure out how to go to the next slide. Spacebar didn't work. Um, this is fun. I don't want the pen. How do I get out of the pen? Clear screen. Go back. Oh, I can just click. Okay, sorry. Anyway, oh, why did that go there? No, we're good. Nope. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so what is HR? So much like global resources, so actual physical resources, human resources is taking what our company has to offer and maximizing its potential. So if you think of a global resource, natural gases, we got to take it and maximize, use it to its full potential, but don't overuse it, don't underuse it, maximize it. So most of these resources are the people. So in a business, you're only as good as the people that work for you. So the key word there is culture. So develop and reinforce the culture. If you develop a really good work environment, people want to work there and they're going to do their best. If it's a toxic work environment, it's going to really suck. So any sort of management, if you have um, a category where you are a management of some sort, you have to understand the culture part and the people part. So here's my comparison that makes a lot of sense to me. And Garrigan, we love sports, so why not tie it into sports? I'm gonna get. Oh, I can just tuck myself away. That's probably ideal. So I like to think of human resources management or of the human resources manager as the AD of the entire thing. So the AD, let's go back. So the AD runs an athletic program or an activities program. So they're in charge of facilities, all sort of the, ad- not the advisors, but the, yeah, maybe advisors of things or just coaches. They have similar roles. So below the AD, you have your head coaches. So much like our program have head coaches for the basketball program, football, track, all those things. You have to think of your managers just like your head coaches. And then below the managers, obviously, or not the managers, the head coaches, you have players. You have the people that actually go and execute the plays. They show up, they go to practice. And so your employees are the players. They're the ones that execute the plans, and you can't win or lose if they don't perform very well. So HR is the AD. You have managers for every department. Those are your head coaches. And then your employees are the players. So if everyone works well and does their job, you should be able to see some success. And then overall, HRM, human resources management, you are in charge of these 7 things, which seems pretty simple, but these all break down into a lot of detail. So you're in charge of staffing, that's who you hire. Policies, you got to have policies set in place or else it will be chaotic. Compensation and benefits, how much are people being paid? What are you offering them? Do they get retirement? Retention, that's just keeping people around. Training and development, you're in charge of training them. You can't just hire somebody and hope they do well. You have to make sure they do well. Laws, that's a huge, not so fun part of it, but it's required. And then worker protection. You're in charge of, say you're a manager in a factory, you have to supply all of the safety protocols, you have to provide all the safety equipment, you have to make sure everyone can work safely and effectively. All right, so here are just a few skills out of the thousands of skills that most HR people have. So you have to be able to manage a lot of things, manage people, manage time, manage resources. It's a lot of stuff. So this is leadership and delegation. So you're the overall leader, but you have managers. You have people that report to you. You speak with them. You have to be able to give them roles and assignments. So that's what the word delegation is. Delegate roles to them. You can't do everything. So things that you don't need to be doing, give that to managers. Put that on them for each department. Then another big thing is teamwork and communication. So yes, this is HRM, but this is just in general. Any position that you're working or any role play that you're doing, teamwork is huge, communication is huge. Customer service, public relations, um, even if it's not a customer service related industry, you just got to be good to clients, you got to be good to your staff, good to everybody. You have to be approachable and understanding. Can you imagine your boss or someone that has to give you bad news is hard to approach, hard to talk to? So yeah, you got to be approachable. Just be a good people person. IT, so that's like technology. You have to have a basic understanding of it. You have an IT department. They know everything else, but you just have to have a basic understanding. Analysis, analyze what's going on, what needs to improve, what's going well, what's going not so well. You have to be a critical thinker and problem solver. This is crucial in a lot of roles. But you're gonna have problems, you have to solve them. Then money management and accounting. You're kind of in charge of that whole thing. A few more duties. Like I said, staffing policies, compensation. This was on the previous slide, this image. So that's just a little more details. Then one minor detail here is you have to be cost driven. Cost driven, not cost drive, sorry. Typo up there, I'm not perfect. So cut costs where possible. I mean, you don't want to be cheap. You don't want to choose cheap materials. You don't want to hire bad people because they're less educated and you can pay them less. You still got to do the best you can with what you got. So there are many processes in the workplace that are costly. It's the role of management to minimize these costs. So use exactly what you need to spend. So hire exactly the amount of staff that you need. Yes, it would be ideal if I hired 100 people to do a lot of jobs. But if I don't need 100 people, I don't want to pay people to just do a little bit of work. Offer useful benefits, nothing more, nothing less. So that would be healthcare plan, eye care, dental, maybe a retirement benefit. So that's called a cafeteria plan. So a cafeteria plan has nothing to do with food. So a cafeteria plan just deals with you have X amount of money in terms of a benefits package, and the employee, the worker, gets to choose the best plan for them. It's cheaper for us. It works best for them. A one size fits all plan never works. So a cafeteria plan, they get to pick and choose the level of healthcare they get, the level of dental, eye care, they get to choose. And then make sure you train people properly. With proper training, it's going to be very expensive up front, but it'll even out in the long run and you're saving yourself. Um, Maybe people get in trouble because they're breaking policies. And sometimes with broken policies comes broken laws or discrimination and other stuff. And if you have that on your hands, you're dealing with lawsuits. And that's more expensive than the training. So you got to be more proactive than reactive. That is a very common phrase in any management position. Be proactive, plan for everything, cover all your bases. Don't be reactive. Don't try to put out a fire. Be sure that you are making it so the fire doesn't happen. And then just your expectations. Your every job, every company has their mission statement. Make sure they understand what you and the company expect. More specifically, a hospitality manager. I know some of you guys, this is your category. So very similar to HR. So you have to deal with accounting and budgeting. You have to deal with interviewing, training, and managing your staff. You got to get the best people for the role. You have to assist with daily operations. So restocking things, making sure everybody's properly staffed and educated. People have good skills to deal with customers, whether it's good interactions or bad interactions. Optimize business performance. Yeah, you got to make sure you run at 100% efficiency or almost 100%. You're going to get a lot of customer complaints. You really have to be patient, understanding, very kind. There are going to be some Karens out there, but you still got to treat them like you would anybody else. And then health and safety. That's your number one priority is make sure everyone's in a safe environment, things are taken care of. So if you're hospitality, such as maybe you're in charge of a lobby at a hotel. You have to make sure if the water gets restocked that it's clean. You're not just throwing it in random tap water. It's not sitting out all day. If you have a coffee pot, that gets filled and refilled and cleaned properly. So just simple little things. Other things that go with this that aren't necessarily super important to know at the basic level, but they're good things to know. So develop plans and strategic plans. That's just where are we at now? Where do we want to be? And how do we get there? Diversification. So you want to diversify. So like racism, sexism, none of that has a place in a business sense. Excuse me. None of that has a place in the business sense. So you have to completely get rid of all of that, treat people as equally as possible, and you have to understand there is diversity. Color is a thing. People are different. People have different beliefs and understandings. You have to respect that. And so you can't play favoritism. You can't show any sort of discrimination. So you have to be aware of it and then promote it. And then analyzing, recruiting, selecting, training, retaining. That's just a fun little cycle that goes on and on. So analyze, what do we need? Let's recruit the people. Let's select the people. Let's train them and let's keep them. And if somebody leaves, who do we need to replace? Let's recruit somebody and so on. It's kind of a cycle. Compensation, benefits, how do we keep them? And then performance evaluations. Are people doing what they're supposed to be doing? Then the last thing, like I've probably already talked forever. I don't know how long I've been talking, but anyway. So a SWOT analysis is very common in all business settings. It's very common in a lot of healthcare settings. So you'll see this in probably any position you do someday. So it's just good to know. So this is a common business tool to use that people use to evaluate their current systems. So it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So strengths, what are we doing well? What is good about our company? What is good about the morale? The weaknesses, what do we need to do better? Opportunities is how can we grow? What opportunities exist in the market? What opportunities exist in the community where we can expand, grow, and all that stuff. And then threats. So maybe there's a competing company in town that would be a threat to you. Maybe, I don't know, a threat could be there's new laws coming out that make it really hard to do a certain job. That could be a threat. So these are just things that you analyze how things are going. I should have done that a long time ago. Analyze how things are going and all that stuff. So let me drag myself back up here. So yeah, that's human resources 101. It's very basic understanding of HR and management in general. So I hope this helps you a little bit at least. How do I get out of this? There we go. So have a great day. Go Bears. Proud of all of you. Thank you for being a part of Bishop Gary Deca.